Hey everyone, hope everyone is having an awesome start to their trading week. Yesterday the market was closed due to a holiday. So today I want to go over a trade that I took on an equity or ticker symbol MDLZ. And I basically found this name just by searching through. I was doing some research and just reading up on the market, some market updates, and I came across this name that was in the same sector as some other names I was looking at, and it's like a food and drink company based in Chicago. Just did some minor fundamental analysis on this name to get the idea, and then I looked at the technical in the chart, and it looked pretty good. So let's get into it. I posted my pre-market plan and the plan on this name before, or it was yesterday I posted it. So I put it in the pre-market plan. Um, and I'll just go over the pre-market plan here verbally instead of just reading it to you. So I looked at this name. I'll just get up um, a clear chart. So we'll name this clear. And this is kind of what I do um, when I look through my names. And I don't normally trade equities, but this one looked kind of too good to miss. I normally just trade ES and NQ, but I am kind of venturing into the equity world a little bit if I do like a setup, and this is kind of one of them that I liked. So in a macro perspective, it's clear that we've been selling off here, right? We sold off pretty hard these past couple of months, in MDLZ. In case you're wondering, this is volume profile indicator. It just shows the relationship between price and volume in a more visual interpretation. So if you want more about that, let me know. I'm happy to explain this kind of what this is and how I use it. Anyway, so I saw this. It was coming down here, and the interesting part about it was kind of consolidating around here in this 58 area. We can kind of see that this is like the low part of the range of the volume profile indicator, and there's not a lot of volume here, but it has been increasing in volume. As you can see, if we just pull it up here real quick, you can kind of see that we've been kind of trending up. We've been increasing in volume this past couple weeks. You can notice these candles have been kind of increasing volume, especially in the past couple days, couple trading sessions rather. So that was something that I right off the bat realized. Another thing that I realized here was, well, why are we increasing in volume? And then I noticed we had a daily demand zone, not the cleanest looking daily demand zone, but we had a key demand zone. It was very key. We've been kind of consolidating around it. It was the lowest point on the volume profile indicator, and this is kind of where we've been consolidating at. So I knew that, all right, well, we've been consolidating either for a move lower and price just can't really go up there, but it is a daily demand. So it is going to take usually a couple days to kind of see that full bounce and gather all of the orders from this daily demand zone here. And if I caught it earlier, I would have said, all right, there's a daily demand here, and this is kind of like a key point. An interesting thing to note is obviously you can see that we've been selling off, but then it came, all right, well, what else? What other confirmations do I have here? Because I don't want to just hop in blindly and say, all right, it's going to bounce off this daily demand, because this thing could have easily ripped down, right? Another fundamentals, we have a dividend coming up. So usually we tend to see some kind of run-ups before dividends. You can see that here. Historically, we've had these kinds of run-ups, except this one. This one was a bit odd. I don't really know why we kind of just sold off, but we did increase after the dividend. Again, you see that we had a little bit of a rally leading up to this dividend here. Again, a dividend or a baby rally leading up to this dividend here. You can see that. And now I said, all right, well, history repeats itself, so we're probably going to have another rally for this dividend. Another confirmation I had was the relative strength between ES and this ticker symbol. Just the overall market, nothing too crazy, but we can kind of see that. Just ignore these levels here. It didn't really clean it at all, but actually, you know what? Let's just get rid of this. I'll leave it here for now. Just ignore these levels for now. Maybe I can get a clear chart. It's okay. You can see that over the past couple trading sessions, MDLZ has been holding a little bit of value compared to ES, so it's showing relative strength. And what we see here is we've been creating these lower highs while ES has been creating lower lows. So that was something of interest. We've also been decreasing in volume here on these past couple sessions. Well, we've been increasing in volume here on MDLZ. So that's something else that was interesting to note. So that was, so ES was losing a little bit of steam down here. MDLZ was gaining a little bit of steam. And whenever we see kind of consolidation within a daily demand zone or any kind of zone, we usually see a bigger move coming. So with that in mind, then I went down to a micro level or micro scale, micro chart. And then I noticed this, all right? So any kind of patterns, can I see any kind of patterns here? And I did, and I noticed, so then I noticed if we go back to the default chart, we saw this kind of wedge. So I'll show you what it looked like before today's market thing. And this is what I posted in the pre-market plan as well. I saw this kind of 1 hour wedge forming. We were creating lower highs inside of demand. Lower highs, you can kind of see this here. We created demand within demand, always a good sign, and we held value. We held value within demand. So we created this 1 hour, this weird, it's not really, not the best 1 hour demand zone as we don't have much data here, but it is nonetheless a demand zone. Created this pop, filled this gap, popped again, and then we kept popping, and we created another lower high today. But I'll get into today in just a minute. Okay, so what else did I have going on here? So if we go back to our clear chart, you can see that we have a gap to fill here above 60.29. So gaps usually act as magnets, and we have to fill these gaps. So that was also another confirmation that I had here. And if we go look at the volume profile, you can see that down here has actually created some interest on a micro level, on a micro scale. You can kind of see that they're called nodes, but this area was gaining some interest. It was gaining some interest in the market. So buyers and sellers were kind of fighting back and forth here, but buyers were actually winning. You can kind of see that buyers were kind of starting, putting some interest into the market by creating these lower highs and defending the lows, defending the daily demand zone, defending these 1 hour zones. So we were putting in all these higher lows, and we were forming this wedge. So with all those confirmations in mind, let's take a look at the trade. All right, so, sorry, I do want to mention one more thing. If you look on the 1 hour chart right here, you see this says bounce play, right? But that's because the area of interest here was 58.5, right around that area. So that was just the highest volume in this region here. And we were kind of coming out of that right around the wedge. So it was kind of like all roads lead to the highest amount of volume here in this wedge. I also added that because there was relative strength compared to ES and NQ, this thing would pop as soon as ES and NQ would catch a bid, catch some buyers, which is kind of exactly what happened. But there was a little bit of irony that I want to get into in today's trade. Okay, so with all that in mind, the market opened up. Let's go back to our flexible grid. And let's go down to a 5 minute, because I usually trade on 5 minutes. And you can see here that right off the bat, we opened up at 9:30. Let's go over here. So 9:30 market opened. There's like no volume on this thing, but obviously this is in millions. I don't really know why. I guess because of, let's just get rid of this real quick so we can kind of see volume a little bit better. Yeah, so this is, keep in mind this is thousands, millions, so it is going to be different. I'm going to see if I can kind of get this done. All right, so now it's a little bit clearer to see. Okay, so we opened here and we were actually showing some relative weakness right off the bat in MDLZ. So that was a little bit concerning, to be honest. Didn't really know, I was like, well, what's going on here? Again, just want to, these lines are kind of, these wedge lines are just, they're all opinion-based, or subjective rather, that's the word, subjective. So just bear with me because everyone kind of makes their own trend lines, right? So you have to take it with a grain of salt, play around that area. It's not going to be perfect. It's just not, it's impossible to be dead on every single time. So anyway, back to the trade. or the market outlook. So we see that the market opened up strong. It was extremely strong, and we opened up, we gapped up, and pre-market. So I was thinking, all right, well, I want to see a bounce play, and that was the original plan. I want to come back to this bounce play, and we kind of pulled up a little bit. We bounced off this wedge line, but then we just sank. And here is a really interesting lesson that I want to share today. So if we go here the first couple minutes of the open, or first couple 5-minute candles, we were consolidating, and we could have looked for an area to get long, but we kind of actually broke the wrong way. So, and we were just showing some relative weakness. So that was something to be careful of right off the bat. So this bounce play area was the area of interest that I was interested in going long at, or this daily demand zone, this key daily demand or 1 hour demand. And that's kind of what happened. So now I said, all right, ES is strong. Now I just need to find confirmation to get long in MDLZ. And we kind of consolidated right around this area. Then we pushed up again, and we're still falling on MDLZ. And we were approaching this resistance area on ES. So that was a little bit concerning. And we were struggling to find a bid here. But if you notice, right at 10:20, we kind of pushed above it. However, there was a couple different places you could have gotten long here. So let's go back to a bigger picture, or not bigger, but a more clear picture to today's chart. Here is a volume lesson. So let's see, I don't know if I can do this. Oh, wrong way. Sorry. So besides the first candle, the greatest volume we had today occurred, in the morning, besides the last 30 minutes of power hour, was this 10 o'clock candle. So whenever we have a large candle with this and we cannot continue any further, that is usually an indication for a reversal. So whenever we have large amounts of volume pouring in and we cannot continue lower, that is usually an indication for reversal. So here's what happened. We reversed, we put in a lower high. If we go back to a 1 hour time frame, we put in a lower high here, right near the bottom of this wedge. So there we go, a lower high. Buyers stepped in. Now, where's a proper entry? Well, remember how I said, let's see if we can find some relative strength. And this is a little bit concerning, since this 3770 level was an area of interest of resistance on ES. So I was a little bit concerned. So when something like that happens, it is a good idea to go with less size or not take the trade at all. But given all of these confirmations I had on MDLZ, including this reversal, the proper area to get long was above 58.5, going back above our support and resistance level, or volume profile level. And then we also had further confirmation with this 5-minute RB&R. So if you didn't get long above here with a stop below the low of the day, as your first thing, you could have easily, a more safer area of interest is, safer entry is at this 10-20 candle 5-minute RB&R, with a stop either below the RB&R, stop below your volume area, or if you have greater risk tolerance, below the low of the day. And you can see that at 10:20, we pushed above this 3770 area. And why do I keep mentioning that? Well, let's take a look at ES real quick, just to cancel that out real quick. So if we look at a 1 hour time frame on ES, 1 hour time frame on ES, we can see that this 3770 area is the highest, it has the largest node in this area. So the highest node in this area, this big blue line you see here, is where buyers and sellers were kind of having like a tug of war. And yeah, so we knew that ES was strong. So that was a little bit concerning, but MDLZ was overall, the bigger picture had relative strength. So it was just lagging behind, and we were simply, buyers wanted to come down and get this, or sellers were pushing this lower, and buyers wanted to get this at a greater discount than open. And honestly, it was a bounce play. I said it was a bounce play, and that is exactly what happened here. We wanted to pull back and bounce. And if you took it here, you would have made a nice profit. It moved up about $1 actually, $1 plus $1.20 from the entry. You're never going to catch the high and the low. But a good target is, let's see what a good target would have been for anyone in this trade. I think there was a 1 hour zone, I believe, or a 30-minute zone. A cleaner 30-minute zone. Yeah, so this wasn't the best 1 hour zone. I didn't really like it because the drop wasn't significant. It was kind of choppy. So I think you could have gotten away with the 30-minute supply zone as your target. This is a much cleaner zone here. You see it right here. It was zoned, and then we dropped from here. And boom, target hit at 60. 60 was also a, round number. You could have gone for the high of day if you have a more conservative target, but let's take a look at the option chain. Let's see how much you would have made if you had the 60 strike price. So if we go to here, click on the option chain and copy and paste, let's see what you would have made if you took this trade as well. Okay, obviously this is not a very liquid name, but this is just to give you an idea of what a trade would look like if you were to trade this, on a more liquid stock. This is all, just for educational purposes. Again, to understand where you would have, what kind of things to look for when you are trading. All right, so let's say you got in at 1020. Why is this not syncing up? This is a bit, all right, so 1020. Let's see where this would have been. 1020, you would have gotten filled around, let's say 25 cents, and then at 60 hit around 3 o'clock. So let's go to about 3 o'clock. Would have been a 100% gain. Maybe a little less, a little more depending on your fills and the liquidity of this name, but it would have been 100% gain on the contracts. So easily a 100% gain for that kind of analysis. Really hope this helped you guys. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments at all. Any feedback is appreciated. If you find something that I missed or incorrect, correct, I love being critiqued as well. Again, I'm not perfect, and I would love to learn from you guys as well. So thank you so much if you made it this far for watching the video, and look forward to making more for you guys. Thank you so much.